Welcome everyone, this is Professor Bright, and this video is meant to be kind of an introduction on the video system overall and kind of how to take notes. Most of the time when you are watching videos for this course, you're going to hear me talk through some slides that I have prepared, and I do provide those to you, but I actually recommend not printing those out and just kind of copying down what I write on the screen. Um, a lot of the times when that happens, students aren't thinking about everything that is going on and they miss a lot of what I'm talking about. So this video is going to kind of provide some recommendations for what you should take notes on and how you take notes. But again, this is only a recommendation. So do with it as you will. All right. So as I mentioned, do not print slides, do not mindlessly copy down what I write in the videos, but instead, what I think is most helpful for students is to remember that notes are exactly that. They're notes, right? They're notes to you when you look back on them. So, and you look back on your notes because, you're kind of forgetting something or something's a little fuzzy. So go into notes with the mindset of, I'm making notes for my future forgetful self. Okay. And, notes may be very different based on who you are and what your future forgetful self might be. Um, but some recommendations on what I think might be helpful to kind of a lot of people would be something that you might need to know in 3 weeks. So that's about the time when an exam is going to roll around. So if I say in the video, like, okay, make sure to remember this for the upcoming exam, quiz, blah, 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 probably write it down. In addition, there are going to be certain points in the videos where I say, remember this, don't do this, etc. Those are probably good things to write down too. Okay, I will say when you get into the video with linear and angular speed and the arc length video, I do make those types of comments. So be on the lookout for those. Okay, key language for a lot of times in mathematics, that means definitions, theorems, etc. You don't need to copy them word for word, but if there are any particular nuances or conditions, properties, etc., that you need to have, probably include those. Okay. For example, we're going to be talking about angles in this first video series, and in there's the initial side, terminal side, radians, degrees, standard position. Okay, probably good things to get down going forward. Examples, yep, we all in mathematics we live on examples. So, you don't have to jot them all down, but some of them that are relevant to you, some of them that you might want to refer to, you can ask me questions in class on those examples as well. So anything that might be helpful, again, later on. Okay. Remember that notes are meant for you and they are taken by you. So if you have particular shorthand or whatever, use it. Okay. For a while, I am going to ask you to submit a copy of your notes. I'm not going to look at the content of them. I'm just going to make sure that, they're notes, right? You're not submitting something for chemistry. So they're notes for this class and they're on topic. So as long as I can determine that, we're good to go. Okay. Um, a lot of students feel like they need to spend hours and hours and hours on notes. Maybe if that is what you need to do, but really what I want you to do is limit yourself to one page. Because if you're flipping through pages of notes, A, you're not going to remember where crap is, and B, it's probably going to take some time and you have to sift through that and whatever. So try and do just one page. Okay. And I skipped over one point. Write notes on your notes. Okay. So you can take notes during the video and then as you maybe come back as your future forgetful self reviews these, you might want to say, yep, okay, I remember this. And here is one thing that I learned in class about that. So you can do this now or later. Make sure to listen to my comments in the videos too. I don't always write down everything that I'm saying because I talk faster than I can write, and I think that's true for a lot of people. So there might be pieces of information that you find useful during the video that I say that aren't captured in text. So always make sure to do that. And then finally, I just want to mention that I have an example of notes that I took that were meaningful for this first section. So I will provide kind of a generic template to all of you. And I mean, this literally took me like 10 seconds to make, and you can do this in your own notebook paper rather than, printing this out. But I recommend at the top to, write out the section, and then below there, just write down anything that your future forgetful self might want to know. Okay, and an example of this for the first section, you can see I filled it out, and again, all the links are going to be provided to you. And so I kind of filled out, you can see my handwriting, and I ended up using color, and then I included other comments along here that uh, are maybe more commentary for you as students, little tips that I do when I'm taking notes that might be helpful. Okay, so you can kind of take a glance at this, see how I organize it, how I thought about it, and and maybe this is helpful for you. Okay, but otherwise, know that the slides that I go through in the video, I will post the annotated versions of those after we finish for that particular week. I don't post it before because otherwise some people are tempted to just look at that versus watch the videos. And I want you to watch the videos and hear my commentary. So that is kind of our first introduction to kind of how the videos are going to work, how to take notes. One other thing I will mention before we get going is that at the beginning of every video segment, I do kind of identify a learning target and learning steps. The learning target is like the most important thing that you need to be able to do at the end of the video series. So, can you do this? And then to get there, to achieve that learning target, I identify steps. And these are kind of like just little things that you can say, can you do this? Can you do this? Can you do this? And if you can say yes to all the learning steps, you have reached the learning target. So make sure to pay attention to both of those because those are very important when you're studying for exams.